Have you ever loved someone who always sees themselves as the center of the universe? Someone who constantly demands admiration, attention, and is willing to trample on others to satisfy their enormous ego? If your answer is yes, it's highly likely that you've been in a relationship with a narcissist. And when you bravely decide to step out of that toxic relationship and vow never to return, what happens next? Will they collapse? Will the narcissist, someone who always exudes strength and pride, beg for your forgiveness? Or will they erupt in anger, resentful of being ignored? Will they do everything in their power to cling to, manipulate, or even seek revenge on you? Join me as we explore the dramatic and surprising psychological journey of a narcissist when faced with the harsh truth: you will never come back. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video so you won't miss out on these fascinating and insightful psychological analyses. And now, Number 1. The greatest fear of a narcissist: loss of control. A narcissist, with an ego as inflated and fragile as a balloon, is always desperate to control everything around them, particularly relationships. They see others as pieces on the chessboard of life, as sources of supply to quench their insatiable thirst for admiration and attention. So, when you decide to leave them, like a pawn daring to escape the queen's control, it deeply wounds their sense of self-worth. It's not just about losing a lover. They are losing a useful tool, a loyal audience that endlessly applauds their perfect performance. Your departure is like a deep scratch on their shiny facade, exposing the weakness and insecurity hidden beneath. Narcissists are incapable of self-soothing. They rely on external validation to sustain their fragile ego. Losing you feels like a rudderless ship adrift in a storm, flailing in a sea of deprivation and fear. However, do not mistake their desperate attempts to win you back for love. In reality, they simply want to regain control, to restore the order they believe is rightful. They may use any means necessary, from sweet, flattering words and empty promises to threats, manipulative tactics, or even violence, to force you to return. In particular, narcissists with abusive tendencies may exhibit extreme behaviors when they feel a loss of control. They might become aggressive, issue threats, or even resort to physical violence to punish your betrayal. In any case, narcissists cannot tolerate losing control, which is why they will go to great lengths, even resorting to unhealthy methods, to pull you back into their grasp. It's crucial that you fully understand what you're up against and protect yourself from their negative impact. Narcissists exist in a world where they constantly need to control the emotions, actions, and attention of others to feed their fragile ego. The prospect of losing this control, especially when you're no longer within their sphere of influence, is not only terrifying but also disrupts the psychological equilibrium they rely on. But what happens when they realize this loss is permanent? They descend into a state of denial and shock, revealing the deep-seated darkness within. Number 2. Denial and shock, the dark side of a narcissist. When the proud wall of a narcissist crumbles before the harsh truth, you've left them and will never return, they fall into a state of denial. However, this denial is unlike the typical response most people have when facing loss or emotional shock. While ordinary people may sink into grief or question reality, narcissists simply cannot accept the truth that they have failed. They have failed to maintain control, failed to manipulate, and failed to keep you as a compliant puppet serving their inflated ego. This denial feels like a crushing blow to the illusion of absolute power they've painstakingly built. They, who always see themselves as the center of the universe, are suddenly dethroned. The loss of control throws them into panic, fear, and above all, deep emotional injury. Like a wounded animal, they may lash out, scream in denial, or shrink into a facade of false vulnerability. You might witness them crying, begging, or even humiliating themselves to plead for your return. But don't be fooled. All of this is a performance designed to mask the damage to their ego and reclaim the supply they've lost. They don't genuinely regret hurting you. They only regret losing a useful tool, a loyal audience. Their desperation to win you back stems not from love, but from a fear of losing control and their narcissistic supply. This is when they may shift from overt narcissism to a more covert form, exhibiting behaviors such as crying, feigned vulnerability, or pleading for your return. But this isn't because they've truly changed. It's because they haven't yet accepted their failure to manipulate you. The shock and denial they experience aren't about losing you as a person, but about failing to sustain their abuse and control over you. When a narcissist realizes this loss, they'll do whatever it takes to pull you back, hoping to restore their position and continue exploiting you as a source of attention and validation. When narcissists face the reality of being abandoned, the psychological shock not only shakes the grandiose image they've constructed, but also triggers a powerful state of denial. But denial is only the beginning. To cope with the loss of control, they will seek to restore their power, leading to dramatic and sometimes unpredictable reactions. So, how do these reactions typically unfold, and what purpose do they serve? Number 3. The narcissist's reaction to losing control. When narcissists realize you've truly left them, the perfect mask they painstakingly built begins to crumble. Rage, panic, and the fear of losing control will drive them to deploy a series of tactics to pull you back in. Revenge. Like a wounded animal, they may attack you with words, actions, even violence. They might smear your reputation, threaten you, or try to sabotage your life. Their goal isn't just to vent their anger, but also to assert their power, making you pay for daring to betray them. Manipulation. They will use every trick to sow doubt and insecurity within you. They'll constantly remind you of your mistakes, making you feel guilty, weak, and dependent on them. They want you to believe that you can't live without them, that you made a mistake by leaving. Playing the victim. Suddenly they become weak, pitiful, in need of your protection. They will recount the hurts you caused, making you feel like you are at fault, responsible for the relationship's breakdown. Their aim is to exploit your compassion to pull you back. Emotional attacks. They will use secrets, weaknesses you've shared as weapons against you. They might spread false rumors, insult you on social media, or deliberately make you jealous by boasting about new relationships. Seduction. They will suddenly become sweet, caring, overly attentive. They will give gifts, make promises, do everything to make you feel special. But remember, this is just a sweet trap. Their ultimate goal is to regain control. Silence. When all else fails, they may choose silence. But don't celebrate just yet. This silence isn't a sign of letting go, but a waiting tactic. They are waiting for the right moment to return, when you have let your guard down. In the worst-case scenario, the narcissist may go completely silent to wait for the opportune moment, when they feel ready to approach you again, or when they realize you no longer maintain your defenses. However, don't be fooled by temporary changes in their behavior. Them returning with apologies or romantic gestures doesn't mean they've recognized their mistakes and truly changed. It's just narcissists, with their petty and selfish nature, won't easily accept defeat. When they can't control you directly, they will switch to dirty tactics, smearing, spreading rumors, and damaging your reputation. Like cowardly mice, they only dare to attack you from the shadows. But don't be afraid. Hold your head high and face those lies. The truth will always prevail, and those who truly love you will never believe those slanderous words. Focus on building your own life, proving to them that you are still strong and happy even without them. Don't be fooled by their fake redemption acts. Narcissists can change their outer shell, but their inner nature remains evil and rotten like bad apples. They may apologize, promise, even cry and beg you to come back, but it's all just a cheap ploy to manipulate. Remember, you deserve to be loved and cherished. Don't waste your time and energy on those who don't deserve it. Focus on yourself, build a happy and meaningful life so that narcissists will be envious and regret losing you. When the narcissist realizes your departure is final, they experience a profound psychological shock. Their arrogant facade crumbles, revealing deep wounds to their fragile ego. They may react with intense rage, venomous words aimed at devaluing you, or desperate attempts to manipulate and cling. This loss of control stems from a fear of abandonment and an intense craving for admiration, which they no longer receive from you. But is that all? Are there other, more hidden motives lurking beneath the mask of fury and anguish? Number 4. Unveiling the narcissist's tricks. Protecting yourself from harm. I will focus on clarifying the impact of manipulative tactics, emphasizing their danger to empathetic individuals, and highlighting the consequences of falling into the narcissist's trap. The tactics that narcissists use to hold on to you are not merely manipulation, but a form of subtle emotional abuse that can leave deep wounds in your soul. Especially for those who are compassionate, who believe in good, and are willing to help others, these tricks become even more dangerous. Narcissists, with their excellent ability to read emotions, will take advantage of your empathy, weaving their way into your life at the very moment you are weakest and most vulnerable. They will completely transform, becoming the person you've always longed for, caring, attentive, understanding, and willing to admit fault. They will do everything right, making you think they have truly changed. But don't be fooled by this perfect act. This change is only temporary, a carefully calculated tactic to lull you into an illusion. If you're lucky, they may maintain this mask for a while, maybe a few weeks, a few months, enough to convince you that they've reformed. But as soon as they feel they've regained control, the true demon inside them will awaken. Everything will go back to square one, even worse. They will resume their abusive behaviors, blaming, manipulating, and making you the victim of their own psychological problems. You will be caught in a cycle of abuse, drowning in disappointment and hurt. Every time you soften, every time you give them a chance, you are pushing yourself into the abyss. Your self-esteem will be trampled, your trust shattered. Emotional, psychological, mental, even physical and financial wounds will pile up, leaving you exhausted. Therefore, before believing sweet words and fake redemption acts, stop and think carefully. Don't let yourself get caught up in the toxic cycle again. These promises are likely to lead to greater hurt and pain that you don't deserve. Don't let their fake tears or empty promises sway your resolve, because behind that facade of pain and despair lies a carefully orchestrated script aimed at manipulating and clinging to you at any cost. They may transform into a pitiful victim, blaming you for the breakdown, or use sweet words and expensive gifts to buy your affection. They might even threaten and demean you to instill fear and prevent you from leaving. But do you know, the key to escaping this toxic cycle is Number 5. Breaking free from the narcissist, a declaration of self-liberation. The declaration of self-liberation from the narcissist begins with one word: cut. Cut off all contact completely. Imagine yourself adrift in a vast ocean, clinging to a rotting life raft. That raft is the narcissist, the one who once promised to be your strong shoulder, but is actually just an illusion, a ghost draining your life force and joy. Cutting off contact is the courageous act of letting go of that rotting raft, letting it drift into nothingness, while you bravely swim towards the light, towards the shore of true freedom and happiness. Now, free from the invisible strings of manipulation, you have given yourself a priceless gift: freedom. Freedom to breathe, freedom to feel, freedom to live your own life. Enjoy every precious moment. Cherish every beat of your heart. It's time to turn the lens around. Focus all your attention and love on yourself. Pamper yourself like a king. Listen to the secret desires of your heart. Spend time on passions you've long forgotten. Meet friends who truly love and cherish you. Treat yourself with gentleness and understanding. Forgive past mistakes. Learn to accept and love your true self, because you deserve happiness. You deserve to live a full and meaningful life. The healing journey is not always smooth. There will be times when you feel weak. There will be times when you want to turn back. But remember, you are not alone. Around you, there are always people willing to lend a helping hand, people who love you unconditionally. Reach out to family, friends, or mental health professionals. They will be the light that illuminates your path, the solid support that helps you overcome the stormy waves of emotions. Believe that after the rain, the sun will shine again, and you will find peace in your soul. Cutting off contact with the narcissist is not just an act, but a declaration of freedom, of the right to happiness, and of the hidden strength within each person. Walk strong on the path you have chosen and believe that true happiness awaits you ahead. When the narcissist realizes you will never return, how will they feel? Will they regret it? Will they change? The answer, perhaps only they know. The journey out of a relationship with a narcissist is not easy, but you are not alone. Seek support from family, friends, or mental health professionals. Believe that you will overcome this difficult period and find peace and happiness for yourself. Share your story with us. Have you ever faced avoidance in love? How did you overcome those challenges? Leave a comment below to spread messages of love and healing together. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more meaningful sharing about psychology and love. Together, we create happy and lasting relationships.